Welcome to Weiss on Film. On each episode of Weiss on Film, we're going to take an everyday approach to movie reviews. Why don't you go over and get yourself some refreshments? There you go. And then we're going to head over to the screening room. All right, you got everything? Are we ready? Let's get into the screening room and get ready to see what we have in store this time on Weiss on Film. A journalist and podcaster travels from New York City to Texas to investigate the death of a woman whom he hooked up with. This time on Weiss on Film. Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome to Weiss on Film. I'm Terry Weiss. So glad you dropped by the screening room to join me today. And this time on Weiss on Film, we're going to take a look at the movie Vengeance. It's about a journalist and podcaster that travels from New York City to Texas to investigate the death of a woman whom he hooked up with. What we're going to do right now is we're going to have a little listen at the trailer for Vengeance and talk about it right after this.
I have a story.
Okay.
I'm in West Texas, where this family just lost their daughter to an opiate overdose.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, it's not someone I was close to.
But you flew to Texas for it?
Yes. It was a girl I hooked up with a few times. Her family thought that we were more serious than I did.
I've heard so much about you.
I've heard, yeah.
Abilene just didn't die, she was murdered.
What?
And the two of us are going to avenge her death.
So, as like a personal boundary, I don't avenge deaths. But here's what I can do.
I'm gonna record everything that you think happened to Abilene. And we'll put it on a podcast, and we'll see where it leads.
What evidence does he have that it was a murder?
Nothing. And that's the story.
What's this podcast about?
A new American reality where people invent these conspiracies.
You got deep state, pill pushers, cartels, the law.
Because the truth is too hard to accept. My Prius exploded.
Oh my God. What if you were driving a real car with gas and stuff?
The problem isn't that these people aren't smart. The problem is that they are.
How do you take your coffee?
In the mouth?
If you want people to open up to you gotta act like one of us.
Who here is a diehard fan of the University of Texas? And who here is a fan of Texas Tech?
What if she was murdered?
This just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Looks like 2 pairs of Prince cowboy boots.
Calling out an APB to find 2 men wearing cowboy boots?
What happened to her?
Why do you care so much?
Why do you care so little?
We're so lucky in you, Abilene.
I really don't know what you saw in me.
Art sees art.
Texas has a toll,
You can't solve something like this with a 45. It's the breakdown of society is what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's very wise.
You're gonna need a 12 gauge, couple of ARs,
No.
Western automatic, and a sidearm for safety.
Where are you right now?
I'm in an Uber.
All right, so there you go. There's the trailer for Vengeance. Out in theaters now. Directed by B.J. Novak. Now, this movie it's like 80% comedy and 20% mystery. And there's also a cameo in it by Ashton Kutcher. And he plays actually a hell of a good part in this movie. I really enjoyed his performance in there. B.J. Novak, who directed it, also plays the main character, Ben, as well. Dove Cameron plays the Kansas City Shaw. Boyd Holbrook plays Ty Shaw. And there's just a nice cast of characters in this film as well. And like I said, Ashton Kutcher has a cameo in the film. And it's a very good movie. Basically, the writer from New York City attempts to solve a murder of a girl that he hooked up with. So he travels down south to investigate the circumstances of her death and what happened to her. Now, just a little bit of trivia. On an episode of Office Ladies podcast, BJ Novak said that he first got the idea for the film when he saw a poster for another film titled Vengeance at a film festival. He said that he was struck with the image of the face, of his face on a poster and with that name on it, believing audience would be surprised since it's not the type of work he's typically known for. One of the quotes you heard in the trailer that I thought was really funny, but you were talking about cultural differences, and there's a lot of that in this movie. They talk about, he's kind of like a fish out of water down there in the hard South in Texas. Excuse me. And he's asking the one girl in the morning, he says, well, where do how do you like your coffee? And she says, in the mouth. that one cracked me up. I was just like, oh my gosh. But there's a lot of about, in this film about being a fish out of water. The film itself, it's doing okay in the theaters. It's about an hour and 47 minutes long. Basically, the film itself, it's got a little bit of mystery to it, but you're going to watch it more for the fish out of water story of the character Ben. He's kind of, like a guy, he's young, he's, in New York City, he's kind of like I guess what you would call a hipster, okay? And, hooking up with a lot of girls and stuff like that, and then he gets this phone call because this girl that he had once hooked up with here a little bit while back found out, and her parents find out, unfortunately, that she passed away, and then they found his number in her phone and thought, they were dating with all the pictures and stuff, and call him, and he kind of gets taken aback, but it intrigues him because at the beginning of the film, he's kind of stuck in a rut, and he's looking for something that changes life, etc. And when he gets this unsolicited phone call, it kind of piques his interest, so off he goes down to Texas, and it turns into something more than he bargained for down there. He goes down there kind of seeking a story to see what happens, and it turns into something else, and it turns into something a little bit bigger. It does have kind of a odd ending. I don't want to give away the ending for you, those of you that haven't seen the film, but the ending takes us to some place that I wasn't expecting watching this film, which was what in and of itself was a pleasant surprise. A lot of times when you get these kind of comedy, drama, mystery kind of things, you can pretty much find the road they're going down and head it and go, yeah, I can see how this is going to end. But this one, I must say, was a pleasant surprise, and it had kind of a little bit of a shock to the ending. So stick around for that when you're watching Vengeance. But all in all, I mean, not a bad motion picture. I can honestly say that when we went and saw it, I didn't have high expectations. I went in being cautiously optimistic, me and the missus, and we actually thoroughly enjoyed it. There's some great laughs throughout the picture, but there's also some kind of life lessons that they kind of push towards you as well, as far as family, relationships. They take a take and an observation on relationships in today's modern society. And again, there's a lot of references to the cultural differences between North and South, what would be considered, in our nation nowadays here in the good old U.S. of A. But all in all, not a bad way to spend some time. So I'm going to give Vengeance, I'm going to say, if you want to go see it in the theater, not bad. Catch it maybe in a matinee, or, if you want to wait for it to come out on video. But Vengeance, not a bad movie. Not a bad movie at all. I must say that I didn't mind parting with a few dollars out of the wallet to go see Vengeance. So that's about all the time we got for on this episode of Weiss on Film. And do me a favor, if you like the podcast, would you give us a positive rating and review? Also, share us with your friends. If you'd like to send me some email with any comments, suggestions, or feedback, it's WeissOnFilm, W-Y-C-E, WeissOnFilm, at purplepitstudios.com. And while you're at it, why don't you stop by purplepitstudios.com? There you can listen to more episodes of Weiss on Film and also check out all the other podcast offerings we have and so much more. It's all at purplepitstudios.com. Until next time, my friends, I'm going to keep the screening room open, and I look forward to sharing another movie with you next time on Weiss on Film.